What's the worst case of helicopter parenting you've seen? In college, a girl's mom stayed in her room with her the first week of our freshman year, went to classes with her, ate with her and attended our dorm meeting, introducing herself as Crystal's mommy. She finally went home, and Crystal had obviously never learned to do anything on her own. Her roommate dated a guy in my floor and would tell us about her daily, multiple calls home. She didn't know how to do laundry, so mommy paid roommate to do it for her. By midterm, Crystal was failing all her classes and had basically just given up going to classes. It was too hard. Again, mommy shows up, stays 2 weeks, talks to her professors, then pulled her out of school. I'm curious what she's doing now. Hopefully she broke out on her own and gained some independence. My son told me about this one 5th grade overnight trip to nature center. Kid's mom went, was only parent. That wasn't a teacher. To go. Had a complete meltdown when she was told that her kid would be sleeping in cabin with other kids, and not her. She was told this before trip as well. 4 teachers per cabin. Basically overnight school. He said she basically spent the entire night outside watching the cabin. Really creeped everyone out. Man, the rant she went on Facebook. At least her friends and family called her out on her nonsense. Imagine quite a few people got blocked that day. My best friend's mom. They live 10 minutes away from me, and my friend is really bad with directions. He drove to my house and got lost, so it took him like 45 minutes. After like 30 minutes his mom calls me and is sobbing because he hadn't checked in with her. He's 26. This one kid I knew from elementary high school. The mom didn't have a job and somehow managed to be at his school every single day, watching over him. In elementary she was a volunteer teacher's aide every year, which meant she would help out in whatever class he was in. By middle school, she was the head of the PTA, and although not necessary, she was at the campus almost every day. She would just wander around and eventually, the school stopped caring and she could do whatever she wants. She would randomly pop into one of his classes and just observe or come up to him to hang out with him at lunch. The kid was 24/7, stressed the hell out. His whole body always clenched up. His mom put immense pressure on him to do well in school, both academically and behavior wise. He had an extremely hard time making friends and eventually he was bullied to the point of randomly getting beat up. Made it to the first year of high school before he had to transfer to another school. It's her fault. All she wanted was for him to be smart and polite to teachers, and he never got to learn how to just be a guy and make friends. My son's befriended the new kid in middle school. Homeschooled through elementary school years, but parents wanted him to interact with kids. He's a good kid, smart, but guarded and sheepish, but he got along great with my sons. They want to have a sleepover. He gets dropped off and his mother hands me a list. Had to be 4 pages of his routine. Dos and don'ts and everything. Adam is not to have anything to drink after the hour of 8 PM. He needs to brush his teeth with a toothbrush we sent him with. He needs to be asleep by blah blah blah. I have 3 kids. I can keep a 12-year-old kid alive for 20 hours without a list. She would text me non-stop. I felt bad for the kid. I let him know, listen, if you bend a few of these rules, I'll never tell your mom if you won't, and he had this huge smile. I'm not sure what kind of people helicopter parents think they're creating, but it can't be a fun one, that's for sure. Dude came in to talk about his son's test scores. The son was in my 2nd year university course, and the dad was a prof in the subject I was teaching who thought I was hard on his son. We reviewed the midterm together. In the end I gave the kid back 1 mark, so he went from like a 73 to a 74%. Seriously cannot imagine what it was like for that kid going up. The mom of a former co-worker of mine. He was 27 or 28 and his mom didn't approve the woman he was dating, so he kept dating her in secret. He looked really in love with her. GF not so much, but seemed happy. Eventually his mom started calling me and a couple of other co-workers to check if her son was still dating that woman, so we lied to cover him. After a year or so of this secret relationship, the girlfriend got pregnant. My coworker proposed and they started planning a small wedding. When the mom knew, she went ballistic and forced him out of the engagement. He literally broke up with the future mother of his child because his mom said so. All of this happened 10 years ago. I still talk with the GF because I was friends with her. She is living with another guy. Her daughter is 9 years old and never knew her biological dad. I have no idea or interest of knowing what happened with my former coworker, if he is still living with his mom or what happened. A friend's parents are hyper-controlling. He was on a date and sister called the parents because she was filling out the FAFSA, but was stuck. Instead of saying call your brother, mom drove 2 hours to their college town, tracked him down on his date, and then brought him, but not the date, to the sister's apartment to do it for her. Mom also came to the town when the sister said she saw his motorcycle parked in front of someone's house after dark. It was not his motorcycle. It was just another shiny red motorcycle. The helicopter parent seemed to have influenced a helicopter sister. A mom came with her kid to whine about a deserved poor grade. The kid was a junior in college. Mom was not happy when I informed her I couldn't and wouldn't talk to parents. And by not happy I mean lost her shit and was escorted out by campus security. The student was mortified, of course. Even came by to apologize and I was basically like, let's both just pretend that never happened. MK. Here's what you should work on for the next exam. Regulars where I work. Mom is obsessed with her son, who is in his early 20s. He chose a school on the other side of the country. She moved and bought a house near campus so that they could still live together. Open bracket. Husband is always overseas for work. She would call and ask us to do specific things for her son. Remind him to take his keys and charger. Call and make appointments for him. Arrange rides. etc. Last update I heard he chose a grad school in another country. Mom did not follow him. Thank God he finally has some freedom. We have a neighborhood newspaper, and a real estate agent with kids always writes an editorial on the first page. Her youngest kid is going off to college this fall, and this article was about what to do in the empty nest phase. This woman's advice was, this might be a new and quiet chapter of your life. One college parent activity that's growing in popularity is buying a condo near the campus. For some parents this offers the chance to visit their fledglings while having a stable and familiar place to stay. And amp. X200B. How about parents not do that? If my parents had followed me across state lines to college, just know. I was 11-13 at the time. I had a friend on the swim team that was also around that age. His parents were the most controlling people I had ever seen. His mother looked like the head of a Catholic girls' school that punishes students for singing. We all used to play Nintendo DS games during meets. He just watched over our shoulders because if he touched a gaming console he would be punished. His parents always made him wear the same clothes every day. Tan khakis, white shirt, dark blue sweater vest. I once got him a t-shirt for his birthday. He gave it back saying that he wasn't allowed to wear it. He was homeschooled. Pretty sure his family spoke ecclesiastical Latin at home. Fucking weird. Went to youth group with 2 kids who had the worst helicopter mom. These kids had no muscle mass and were the least athletic kids ever because their parents wouldn't let them play sports. Their mom came to every youth meeting we had, usually just for the youth and the youth leaders. The older kid begged his mom to go on a mission trip with us, only to another part of the state, not even out of country. After we all kind of vouched for him and said he'd be taken care, she let him go. Happy story in the end. He ended up completely coming out of his shell because of that trip. He got super independent and his mom let up seeing that he could take care of himself. A kid at my community college had a mom that would sit in the parking lot and wait between classes. I knew because once he offered for me to ride with his mom to the other side of campus. It wasn't that big of a place. Poor kid. Just thought it was normal and nice. This is my sister's experience, but she taught kindergarten for a while and she had a kid whose mother wouldn't let her play outside if it was below 70 degrees and told the school she was allergic to dairy, but then admitted she lied about that because she couldn't trust that the school wouldn't serve her spoiled milk, so she thought it would be easier to just say she was allergic. Also, the kid was coincidentally sick and had to stay home from school on every single field trip.